You know, Einstein said everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. When it comes to loans, nowhere is this more true than the VA Streamline Refinance. Any of you who have actually applied for a loan or when you purchased the home, you know there was a lot of paperwork you had to get in just to get the process started, income, assets. None of that applies on the VA Streamline Refinance. Let's get started and see just how simple it is. So we're talking about the VA Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan, EARL, better known as the VA Streamline Refinance Mortgage. It's for borrowers who currently have a VA mortgage and wish to lower the interest rate without taking any additional cash out of the loan. The items needed to get started are the following. Number one, a copy of your most recent mortgage statement. It doesn't have to necessarily be the most recent mortgage statement. The most recent one that you have in your possession will do. Basically, we're looking to see the loan number, the bank that the loan is currently with, and to verify the balance. Number two, we're going to need to see a copy of your homeowner's insurance declarations page, otherwise known as your proof of homeowner's insurance. It's going to have your dwelling coverage on it. It's going to have your premium amount. And if you absolutely can't find that, just give us the name of your homeowner's insurance carrier, the policy number, and the contact information, and we can take it from there. For Patriot Act compliance, we'll need to see a copy of a valid state or government issued picture ID for all borrowers. We'll need to see proof of the veteran's service number or social security number for all borrowers. We'll need to see a copy of the mortgage note from the current VA loan. This is very important because sometimes someone will have already refinanced in the past and they'll have multiple mortgage notes. We need to see the mortgage note that you received from your most recent loan, whether that be the purchase or a refinance that you've done recently. That's what we need to see. I'll go over that more in a moment. And lastly, if you're in Texas, Florida, or Ohio only, we'll need to see a copy of your plat map or survey. More on that in a moment. Let's start with the mortgage note. So here's what the mortgage note looks like. The distinguishing characteristic that makes it most obvious is going to be at the very top. It's going to say note or adjustable rate note. And then beneath that, notice this loan is not assumable without the approval of the Department of Veteran Affairs or its authorized agent. You're going to see a line that says borrowers promise to pay. You'll see the interest rate, which should match up with the interest rate of the loan that you're currently in. And this is something a lot of people miss. We need all pages of this note. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, it'll say page 1 of 3. Sometimes it'll say page 1 of 2 or 1 of 4. Somewhere between 2 and 4 total pages on these notes. We're going to need all those pages in order to verify the terms and conditions of your current loan. Next, we're going to look at a copy of your plat map or survey. Again, just want to reiterate, this is only for borrowers whose homes are in Texas, Florida, or Ohio. Here's what it looks like. It's essentially a blueprint of the property. Right there in the middle, you're going to see an outline of the property. At the very top, you may see the word plat. Somewhere on the page, you're going to see a seal of the surveyor that actually prepared this document. And lastly, we're going to look at acceptable forms of identification. Now, this is very important because a lot of times borrowers will ask me, why do I need to send in a copy of my ID and more importantly, my social? People are generally opposed to sending out their social security number, and I don't blame them for that. It's something you really want to keep secure. However, the Patriot Act requires that we properly authenticate any borrower taking part in a mortgage transaction. So let's start with a picture ID, front and back. That could include a valid state-issued driver's license or state identification card, a passport, or a military ID. Next, we need to see proof of your social security number, or as is the case with these VA loans, the service number for the veteran. Again, this is going to be the front and back side of these cards. The first and most obvious choice is going to be your social security card. Second would be the military ID. This is for active duty military. And another thing to note is that if you're trying to prove social, sometimes people will send in the military ID card for their spouse as well, even though their spouse has not served in the military or is not active duty themselves. That will not work because generally speaking, the spouse's military ID card is going to have the service number or social of the veteran or the active duty service member, not their own social. Very important distinction.